Hi Sloths, and welcome to another update video. Now this one is going to be a bit shorter than usual, and that's because I've only got a couple of things to talk about, but I do want to announce a couple of things real quick. So the first thing I want to tell you guys about is basically I'm going to be doing a complete and utter overhaul of my Wattpad page. Now I've had Wattpad for years now, and I haven't really found much success on it. And there's probably a myriad of reasons why, but what I want to do to try and at least see if I can help with that is basically I'm going to be overhauling just my entire profile on there. So I have already gone, and every single story I've posted on there, I have updated all the story notes and all the, the story descriptions and things like that, all the characters. And I've also marked everything that is completed. And I've actually, marked them as completed. Because I know there was a few of them that basically said, oh, it's still on an ongoing storyline, or it's unfinished. So I've gone over there and I've overhauled all of that. I've fixed all of that. So now the only thing that it says that it's not finished is Memories of Lost, and that is because that is indeed the only story on there that is currently unfinished. And I've marked that as about halfway through. I think that's a good sort of position there, because I still have chapter 3 to go and then the prologue. And I've already done chapter, kind of like the prologue. Oh, sorry, not... I have to do chapter 3 and the epilogue, not the prologue, because I've already done the prologue, I've already done chapter 1, and I've recently done chapter 2. So I only have really 2 chapters left, kind of, technically, if you want to count the epilogue as a chapter. So I thought halfway through was kind of like the best option to put for that. Especially because I don't know exactly when I'm going to be getting around to finishing chapter 3. I've kind of made a start on it. I've got a good outline. I know what I want to do for that. But I don't actually, I haven't finished writing everything down. Or writing, the story. I haven't finished writing it yet. But I already know the ending of the story. I already know how things are going to turn out. I just need to actually, write down the specific details, if you get what I mean. So yeah, that's all sorted. And now the next thing I want to tell you about in regards to my Wattpad page is I'm also looking currently for a different platform for publishing my short stories. So the reason for this is kind of obvious. I mentioned it earlier. I've had very little or basically no success of growing an audience on Wattpad. I don't exactly know the reasons why. I'm not a reader on Wattpad, so maybe there's specific obstacles or barriers. I don't know if you have to pay to read someone else's work. I thought Wattpad was a free service, so I don't know. Probably should have done more research into it, and I could obviously definitely just go and Google it right now, but I think it would probably just be better, because I've been on there a few years now. I think it would just be better to move to a different platform, or at least keep all the stuff on Wattpad and keep uploading on Wattpad, but also, kind of shift a load, as much as I can onto another platform as well. And that way I'll have 2 platforms that I upload my short stories to. I mean, I also do that on YouTube, so that might be another reason why my Wattpad suffers quite a lot. Because instead of reading, you guys also get to listen to my audio, my stories. You listen to my stories rather than read them. And that's perfectly fine. But I would also like an actual reading audience. So I need to find a good space to shift my stuff over from Wattpad to a different space. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. I've checked out a few, but I think I kind of gave them a little bit of a pass. I don't even remember what I've looked at so far. I know I looked at one, but the problem with it was that it was specifically for fan work, fan works that are, based on other properties and things like that. And of course, I do have a few things. In fact, I think the majority of my stuff is that, but also it doesn't really. It's not that it doesn't allow. I don't think. I think it's more specifically targeting things that are not original. I mean, original as in completely brand new, your own IP. Not, as in original as in, yes, it's an original story, but it's also, based on a different franchise that already exists. If you get what I mean. Fanfics, that's it, fanfics. Fanfiction, that's what I was thinking of. I couldn't remember the term, man. Oh well. So that's basically what I'm going to be doing. And now the final thing I want to tell you about this Wattpad situation is that I am actually working with Dino, yet again, of course. He is like my go-to guy for these kinds of things. Me and him are working together on actually creating or designing and creating actual like book cover art for my Wattpad stories. If you didn't know, on Wattpad you can actually have your own like little covers for the stories that you publish on there, and I have basically been talking to Dino and actually helping him to, well, I've been giving him my ideas and designs for these covers of mine that I want, and he's already made the first one, which you can check out now. I'm trying to do these things in order because that's just the way I prefer to do things. So the first one that Dino has already done and is now available to see on my Wattpad page is the book cover art for Flesh and Stone, which is the first short story I released on Wattpad and is based on the first mission of Doom Eternal, which is Hell on Earth. You can go and read that. I will provide a link to the story in the description below, and if you really want, you can go through my playlist of short stories, and if you scroll right down to the bottom, you'll probably see Flesh and Stone there as well, because I did do, an audio recording of it, of me just, reading through the story myself. I do want to do something with that at some point, not with the story, but I have been thinking of when I do sort of like, because eventually I'm going to be doing like a big like combination of like the Lost Out Trail, all the short stories into that, because it is called the Lost Out Collection when it's like that. But I haven't compiled those videos into their own one big video, like the entire full story. And I was thinking of maybe when I do that, instead of me voicing it, I could have other people voicing it. And I also thought that maybe for some other stories I could have little bits of voice acting, which would also be really cool from, other people other than myself. But I'm not entirely sure about that just yet. These are just ideas rather than actual plans, so don't quote me on it, because who knows if I'm actually going to do any of that. But I think it'd be really cool. Now, the last thing I want to talk to you about is one that I've been meaning to do for a long time now. So, back when I did my 10th Let's Play, which was the Doom Let's Play, Doom 1993, I did something that now would be considered atrocious. I wouldn't say this is like an apology, but it kind of is at the same time. So way back then, so when I do like a new Let's Play, I do like a little bit of a gimmick for each Let's Play, because I want each Let's Play to feel like it has its own unique features, and it has its own unique like story and setting and feel to it. So for that one, I kind of did AI generated thumbnails. Now, back when I first started doing the Doom Let's Play, AI generated content was kind of new. Well, it wasn't new, but it was very exciting. Everyone wanted, you know, a little piece of it. Everyone wanted to go ahead and, you know, generate things and showcase all these silly things and creations and photorealistic things that AI has created using their prompts. Now, I thought that this would be a good idea. And I can safely say, several years later, I think it was like 2 years later, I don't condone the usage of AI generated stuff. I don't like it. Since then, a lot has come out about how AI generated content works, and I don't like it. I've been meaning to get rid of those thumbnails for a while, but at the same time, it kind of defeats the purpose of having a gimmick. If I get rid of these thumbnails, they are going to get rid of the entire gimmick of that series. But I think what I want to do is I want to get rid of them anyway. I think it's been long enough now that, you know, not many people are really going to remember that this thing had a gimmick, or that this thing was specifically supposed to be the gimmick of AI generated thumbnails. I don't think anyone seriously really cares, and I might be doing all of this for like no reason because it didn't get that many views, and I'm also hoping that having better thumbnails that are not AI generated will kind of make YouTube possibly push these just a tiny little bit. I don't know. It's not like the biggest gamble in the world, but I do feel like it should not be AI generated thumbnails. I do apologize actually if any of these AI generated thumbnails that I have used other people's art. I did not know about this at the time. I do apologize. I'm going to be making an effort to removing and then changing these thumbnails. I don't know exactly how I'm going to be designing the thumbnails just yet. It'll probably be something quite generic just to, you know, quickly go ahead and get rid of these things. And eventually in time, maybe I'll have some more custom thumbnails for them, instead of it being, you know, just a generic background, slap the Doom logo on it or something like that. I don't know what I'm going to do just yet, but I would like to just mention now that it is happening, and it will happen. And I think it'll probably start either later today as this video goes up, or maybe even the next day. I don't exactly know when. I just know within this month you'll start seeing that change. There's, I believe, like, what is it? 10, maybe 12 videos, so it won't take that long to change them all, especially if I'm doing a very generic sort of thumbnail that I can easily just copy and paste, kind of. Then I could even get all of that done in one day, or, you know, in like an hour. But we'll see. I think that's going to be it for this little update video. Again, thank you for sticking with me. Also, just a quick little addition to this. I recently hit 330 subscribers. I know it's not 350, but I'm still grateful anyway. So thank you so much for that. And with all this being said, please like and subscribe. It's always free, and I'll see you later.